This is VR mission 19, and this is one of the hardest ones. To clear it, you have to Zandatsu all of the enemies. Thankfully, you have a pretty lenient time limit at 10 minutes to get that. And it's one of those, if you can beat the mission, then you're probably going to get gold. Your first enemy here is a Fenrir, and you don't really need to worry about having any specific items equipped. When you come in, we're going to be changing to a couple different sub-weapons. But for now, it's easy. And since this is a Zandatsu mission, you need to be really careful about aiming your blade mode strikes. You're unupgraded, so you don't get a lot of time to aim. So make sure you're aiming well. Go ahead and equip your pincer blades going into the second area. And this is where things get tough. You're fighting 2 custom cyborgs and 2 heavy cyborgs. We're going to want to target the custom cyborgs first. They have less health, and it's a nightmare to try and target the heavy guys while they're there. And thankfully, they kind of tend to target you a little bit more because they're a lot faster than the heavy cyborgs. And I'm using the pincer blades for most of this, and what we want to try to do is damage them enough so that their armor starts to crack. And then from that point, you can either counter them or focus on attacking them with the sword. Using the pincer blades carries the risk that you might accidentally kill them before you can counter them, so you want to be sure to not attack them when they're getting low on health. And as soon as that little indicator comes up for damaged armor, that's when you should probably stop attacking them. And you also need to try to avoid doing what I just did there, which was accidentally ninja running up on the middle platform. Because that will let the Fenrir that's sitting up there join in the combat. And once you've damaged the custom cyborgs a bit, then they become a lot easier to counter. They take way fewer hits to actually finish them off. And after the custom cyborgs are dead, this Fenrir will join combat whether or not you've accidentally included him in combat like I have. Thankfully, these guys are pretty easy to take out. And they're pretty easy to take out with pincer blades, too. And you can actually get them to a point in this mission where if you hit them with all 3 hits of your pincer blade combo, then they're immediately stunned, which is the best strategy for trying to deal with them. Because they're pretty light and fast enemies, so they get stunned even with 1 hit, so if you can get them far enough away from the other enemies, then you can get the full 3-hit combo in, and once you get that, you can immediately get them into the special counter stunned Zandatsu. And at this point, I've actually got him down to being blue, and I can Zandatsu him, but the hard part of Zandatsuing Fenrirs when they're not stunned is that they are incredibly fast. And these guys, there's a big problem with these guys vanishing if you do too much damage to them, if you cut off an arm or cut off a leg. So you want to be very, very, very careful with getting these guys heavily damaged. You really want to get them to the state where they're completely blue. And don't go into blade mode to cut off a limb. It makes fighting them easier if you go in and cut off a limb, and they're way less likely to kill you. You're also way more likely to screw it up, too. Then once everybody is dead, you can advance to the final area, and this area is just a pack of Fenrirs. And although there are a lot of them, this is actually fairly easy. The hardest part of this mission is behind you if you've made it to this point. And what you want to do is use the 3-hit Pincer Blade attack, like I just did there. And that's the easiest way to get him. It gets you into a state where you can attack the Fenrir and Zandatsu it without being annoyed by the other ones. And aside from that, this is basically just dodging at this point. Wait for one of the Fenrirs to get into a position where it's going to attack you. And then when it's separated from everybody else, you can go after that one. And as I said, the earlier part of this, the second wave, is the really hard part of this mission. And if you can get through that, and you play this last part intelligently, you're pretty much in the clear. And you should be able to come in well under the time limit for this mission. And with that, you've completed VR Mission 19.